Hi guys, this is Drew Eric Whitman, author of Cash Advertising and Brain Scripts for Sales Success. I am absolutely thrilled to be here today to do this broadcast. Let me just adjust my camera here for just 1 second. Hopefully everyone can see and hear me okay. I am absolutely thrilled to be here today to do the broadcast and to have the pleasure and honor of announcing the 3 winners of this year's Affiliate World Conference 1-hour private consultation with yours truly. You know, these people were randomly drawn from all the AW registrants who registered by midnight, January the 17th. And these 3 folks will meet with me for 1 full hour, and I will aggressively dissect their current promotional materials. I'll tell them what's right, I'll tell them what's wrong, and I'll tell them the exact steps that they need to take to make fast and dramatic improvements. Before we begin, I want to first thank Director Jordan Rosenberg and his incredible team for giving me the opportunity to return to Berlin in June and to present a brand new presentation that I call Brain Blocks: How to Fix 13 Hidden Ad Response Killers Now Strangling Your Sales. It's going to be a fast-paced discussion where I talk about 13 of the most deadly business-robbing mistakes that you're likely making right now in your advertising and how to fix them fast. If you follow my instructions, I personally guarantee that your response will increase if there's even the slightest interest in what you're promoting. We do expect the seats to fill quickly, so please get there early. Okay, now before I announce the 3 lucky winners, I want to talk to you about a very important concept that if you begin applying it, you'll turn lookers into buyers and convert far more traffic than ever before. I call this idea consumer advocate remarketing, and let me tell you how it works. First, you need to understand that nowadays it takes little effort for consumers to check out your competition. I mean, years ago, before Google and Amazon and the internet, before buying something, if you wanted to make sure the thing was going to be a good product, you either asked people who you knew, who knew about the product, who owned it, or you read Consumer Reports if they even did a review on it. Or you took the chance and you just bought it, and you kept the receipt just in case it was junk and you wanted to return it. Well, nowadays it's very different. Before buying, unless it's such an impulse item, you at least do a little bit of research before spending money. I mean, a lot of people, or at least many people, do a lot of research. I, for one, do a lot of research. I just don't want the hassles of dealing with a crappy product. So let me give you a real life example. So let's say you love coffee. Every day or a few times a week, you stop in the Starbucks or your favorite coffee shop and you drop $4 or $5 or euro every time you're there. So eventually you begin thinking, hey, maybe I should just make my own coffee. I won't have to find parking, stand in line, explain what I want, go out of my way, and ultimately pay the ridiculous prices. So just like your own prospects are doing, you begin thinking about how your desire can be satisfied. Okay, so let's say I was that guy going to the coffee shop, me. And I started thinking, how can I make my own coffee? What options are there available to me? Now, assuming I had some knowledge about it, I immediately know some fundamentals. I could just buy instant coffee. I could buy a traditional coffee maker. I could buy an old-fashioned percolator. I could buy a Keurig machine and, buy those pods. Or I can go all out and buy a professional espresso machine with a milk steamer. Or I could buy a French press. I could even grind my own beans, if I wanted to. Or I could buy back packages of pre-ground beans that are available anywhere. So just like your prospects, they're going to start Googling what's the best way to make a great cup of coffee at home, whatever your product or service is. So what I'm doing now is I'm exploring my options for satisfying my desire. And if you remember in this discussion in Cash Advertising about life forces, well, one of those forces is the enjoyment of food and beverages. And in this particular instance, we have to add on one of the 9 secondary ones, and that's economy, the desire to save money. So remember, your product your product itself is a necessary evil. As bad as that sounds, if your prospect can receive the satisfaction of that your product or service provides without having the hassle with the product, they do it. In other words, if they didn't have to do the research, spend the money, hassle with the product, read the book for the knowledge, deal with warranties, possibly breakdowns, defective parts, replacement parts, a a limited life, or any other things that a physical product unfortunately brings with it, they would very quickly opt to satisfy that desire. To give you a concrete example, if I could have the freshest, most delicious cup of coffee in my hand every morning by just snapping my fingers, I wouldn't hassle with boiling the water or grinding the beans or cleaning the equipment. I would just snap my fingers and boom, in my hand is a freshly brewed cup of coffee. But that's magic, right? We can't do that. So we need the products and services in order to satisfy those desires. And I do say in my seminars, some examples: we don't want drills, we want holes. We don't want ovens, we want hot cooked food. We don't want ads, brochures, email sales letters, websites, landing pages, or other marketing materials. We just want people to send us their money, right? Okay, so getting back to the coffee example. Say, okay, I'm the guy who loves the coffee, but I'm tired of the hassles of waiting in line and getting ripped off by Starbucks or whatever other company we feel charges too much for their great coffee. And Starbucks coffee, a lot of people think is pretty darn good. So I'm thinking about now, how do I make it at home? So look what's happening here. I'm starting to do research. And this is exactly what your prospects are doing. They search for ways to satisfy the desire. That means they learn about the product category unless they're already familiar with it. They begin learning about that category and how they could satisfy their desire. Only then do they begin paring down the choices. Only then do they start paring those choices down. Okay, so now that I've learned that it's a French press, that's what I decide, that's what I want, I start looking at specific product offerings. And this is exactly what your prospects are doing. Unless your product is so unique that there's nothing else nothing else on the market that's anything like your product. Nothing else satisfies it the way yours satisfies it. And I don't care if you sell a manual to get more dates, or you sell a physical product of any kind, or if you sell web design service, whatever it is, whatever you're asking people to buy, however you're asking people to send you money. If you have any competition at all, people are going to compare you to your competition. And this is where this conversation gets really fundamental right now and important. So here I am. I'm ready to begin looking at different products and services. And let's say, for example, that to me, Amazon is the best way for me to do this, to do comparison shopping, and the easiest way for me to buy. Now, while I'm explaining this to you, I want you to remember that it's not important that I'm talking about a coffee maker and that you don't sell coffee makers. These product examples are just vehicles for me to explain the concepts to you. Okay, so now I'm on my computer and I'm on Amazon, and I begin by typing in French press coffee makers or whatever it is you sell in the Amazon search bar. What comes up? Okay, dozens and dozens of different manufacturers' French press coffee makers, right? So what do I see? I see the photographs and I see the copy written by different individuals. I want to break this down to extreme fundamentals here. I want you to imagine, let's say there's 24 different French press coffee makers that I find. I want you to imagine 24 different copywriters sitting at their desk somewhere in the world, and each of them is creating an army of words, okay? Their words are charged with doing battle with all the other copywriters' words out there. The strongest words will win this battle. And winning in this case, of course, means to get the sale. That's really a fascinating way to think about it. It's really a battle of copywriters. Now, I'm sure in a lot of cases, there are a lot of people behind these copywriters and companies, but ultimately it's the words that are going to cause the prospect to buy or to not buy. It's a battle of copywriters. And as soon as you upload your words to the server, you've officially entered the battle against all the other copywriters in your product category. Now, let's get to the crux of this discussion. It rarely happens nowadays when someone reads your copy that there are no competitive products. They're typically competitive products to be considered. And they typically don't buy as soon as they read your copy immediately. They typically want to do some research. That means that when they read your copy will make some kind of impression on them. So what will they normally do next? They'll look at other copywriters' writing. They'll get impressions from other copywriters' words. And they'll compare those impressions, logical and emotional, with the impressions that your copy provided. Then they'll read, other copywriters' words. And they'll repeat the process over and over again until they feel they've amassed sufficient data to make a good decision. Or they become so overwhelmed that they use a heuristic shortcut, like buying whatever French press in this example has the little icon that says Amazon's choice next to it. But traditionally, after they look at different products, they're going to start getting confused. Whether or not they recalled anything you said, they're now 20 or maybe 30 minutes into researching in this process. They've seen so many other products and claims, and they could have easily forgotten about what you've said. Everything you said to them at this point is just a blur, and it blurs into everyone else's claims, okay? Now, in most cases, your prospect will not see your product last, but somewhere in the beginning or middle of the research process. I'd love if they would see it last, because then they've seen everyone else's. But your goal now is to get them to return to your description in order to be refreshed about what you said, and hopefully to have them click on the add to cart button. How do you possibly get them to go back? So here's exactly what you do, and it's so powerful, and you got to start using this right away. I call it consumer advocate remarketing. Remarketing. Keep advertising to them in wherever they end up on the internet, bring them on back. This way, what you're doing, you're specifically teaching prospect to be dissatisfied with your competitors' offers. You're installing in their head information that causes them to critically review and process any information regarding any type of product that they see that's in your product category. Okay, Drew, what the hell do you mean what are you talking about? Okay, let's use the coffee example. So in your copy for your French press coffee maker, you not only describe the wonderful benefits and features that your product provides, but you also tell readers to beware of the many pitfalls that they now face by being a consumer searching for a similar product. And the way you do this ideally, so it ties into reality, and you always want to tell the truth, of course, is you look at your competitors' reviews. Now, ideally, you look at the 1 and 2 star and 3-star reviews, and you find out what people don't like about their product. Then in your description, you teach people to beware about these specific things. In other words, you tell them that some manufacturers use an inferior type of glass that's far more prone to cracking. Remember the French press example. You teach them how yours is tempered in a different way to resist chipping, that yours is made from a borosilicate glass that's heat resistant. And borosilicate glass, you tell them, is a type of glass with silica and boron trioxide. It's known for having very low coefficients of thermal expansion, making them resistant to thermal shock, more so than any other type of common glass. This is superior glass. It's less subject to thermal stress, and it's commonly used for the construction of reagent bottles, thick and strong bottles made for the professional laboratory use. Do you see what I'm doing here? You're teaching them to be a smart shopper and not to get ripped off. And this instantly connotes that your products are of good and superior quality, or you'd never be teaching them this stuff. You wouldn't want them to know it. So you instantly look like a hero. You're on their side, and this builds credibility and trust. Now, you ask questions and put questions in their head. Why do so many French press manufacturers use inferior glass that's more likely to split, crack, or chip? Who needs the hassles? And you say, your French press also features a special BPA-free plastic liner to prevent the lid from overheating and burning their hands. Why don't all companies do the same thing? You're giving them questions. And unlike many other companies' presses, the liner never touches your coffee. And this is important because some companies' plastic liners have the rubber parts that give your coffee a chemical taste. So knowing that neither of these materials ever touch your coffee is a major advantage. Now you put other questions in their head. Why do so many other presses have only one mediocre filter screen when yours has 3 to filter out the grounds? Why don't they all use stainless steel filters? Why don't they tell you that their filters can rust and need to be replaced? Why don't they say this? Why don't they say that you can't just throw their parts into a dishwasher, but instead you need to wash them by hand? You see, the most effective form of selling is more than just saying good things about what you sell. It's also about steering your prospects away from those competitors that would love to see you go out of business. Remember, it's a battle of copywriters. So do you see what we're doing here? It's like the inoculation process. We're installing a mind frame in your prospects so that they take with them when they visit your competition's copy. Now, information that's superior. And when I say superior, I mean not that it's better, but it's superior, meaning it carries greater significance than just typical product claims carry. And it follows them when they leave your site. It occupies more space in their head. This is information that they use to hold or process all the other information they read. You're giving them a new context for judging. You're installing a mental context that they will, from that point on, use to process other copywriters' claims. It's sneaky, but it's absolutely powerful and ethical. Now, it's important to note that you just don't want to state superior benefits and features. I hope you'll always state what's best about what you're selling and what's better, your advantages. But you're purposely selling against your competition. You don't say what's great about yours. You intentionally say many others do not have these same features and benefits. So you say more than just what's great about yours. Do you get the difference? You're not just saying you're great, but you're acting like a consumer advocate and you're teaching them what to look out for. You're giving them inside information, inside industry information that no one else is telling them. And you're framing the information in such a way as to make it superior to other manufacturers' claims. The result is that they feel like you are on their side. You're the one who's helping them decide. While all the other companies out there are simply saying, hey, buy. You're saying our product's superior. Here's why it's superior. And here's what you need to look out for, because there's so many inferior products on the market today that can cause you nothing but aggravation and dissatisfaction. We think ours is the best, but no matter whose French press you buy, keep these critical things in mind. So instead of just hoping that they'll remember your claims, you're giving them ammunition, really, for a method of critical inquiry, and you're training their brains to be critical when reading your competitors' claims. Now, I hope this all makes sense, and I strongly suggest that you begin using this right away. It's a consumer advocate remarketing principle. I want you to use it in your ads, your brochures, your emails, your websites, your landing pages. Your competition is likely not doing this. So I suggest you get on board and jump on this right away. Okay, now I am thrilled to announce the 3 Affiliate World Private Consultation with Drew winners. Congratulations first to Marin Bejic. You've won a 1-hour consultation, and I look forward to working with you. And our second winner is Judy Grantham. Judy, congratulations. I can't wait to see what you're doing right now and how we can improve it. I look forward to working with you. And our third winner is Gabriel Lepidatu. Gabriel, I will do my absolute best to help you boost your sales. I look forward to working with you as well. Congratulations to the winners. And I look forward to meeting each of you at the conference. So please be sure to stop by and say hello. And in the meantime, if you're one of these winners, please email me at drew@drewericwhitman.com and tell me about your business. Send me some links and let's start the conversation. Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching this broadcast. And if you have any questions, please contact me at drew@drewericwhitman.com. Thanks so much, guys, for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in Berlin. Take care. Bye-bye.